Really, what spirits are is they're this formless being that reflects back wherever we have energy, emotion. So the way that they appear is actually a reflection of our mind. They don't exist in any form because they don't have a form, but they'll appear or they'll bring energy that has to do with our own wounds. And so those experiences, you can watch all the scary movies and think, the devil's out to get me. But the devil is in you. Everything's in you. Nothing is external. And so you can use those experiences to learn, where are my disowned parts? Because when we experience various traumas, our soul actually fractures and we become not whole. In my work, that's my job, is to help them call back those parts that they've rejected and then created a whole story around how it can never be okay because this person did that. You are much more powerful than you give yourself credit for. And it's really a disservice to yourself to think that you are a victim. I'm not saying that things have not happened that did victimize you, but your ultimate nature and the energy that you are more powerful than you give yourself credit for. And if you hear that as a victim shaming, that's part of your wound because that's not my intention. It's helping you connect to your own being. So you use the energies that you sense. You know, when someone bad walks in a room, some part of you knows. You already sense things. You just don't grow that part. We go to school and they teach us how to grow our intellect. What good does our intellect do? I don't know how many people come to therapy and they know exactly what's wrong and why they're the way they are, but they're still suffering because intellectual understanding is nothing, actually. It's the experiential experience that opens the true nature of your own mind and of reality. So, when I work with spirits, it actually isn't anything external. It's just mirroring where I need to heal. My fear, my anger, my judgment, whatever the case is, my not enoughness. So don't take things so literal. That's the point of this video, is to help you start to dive a little bit deeper into your psyche and into reality, because there is a whole dimension of reality that is unseen that holds all the wisdom that we needed. We don't need anything external. That's what we're trained to believe, that we need something external. Something external has control over us, whether it be our boss or our partner or even God. Like we hold these views that don't align with the true nature of others or of ourselves. So work on that.